College athletes put in so much work and so much time, it's almost like a full-time job, yet they get no reward for it. I know many people that are in college that play sports, and they play sports and have to spend many hours practicing, and have no time for anything other than their sport and schoolwork during the school year. And some of the two sports that bring in the most money for the school are football and basketball. And on this sheet right here, it kind of has statistics for which schools get the most money for, like which schools bring in the most money for football. And the first team is Alabama, which not much of a surprise, they're having the most success in football. And it just has how much they bring in for tickets and like donations and stuff like that. So I'll pass it around so you guys can see. College athletes are working extremely hard for their universities and deserve to get paid because they're basically giving out free labor for the schools, and with a sport, there's no time for a summer job, and there's more than 40 hours a week that they have to put into their sport. For the money that they bring for their bosses, or if you make money for your bosses and you don't get any of it, you don't really get a reward. So nobody likes to make money for their boss if they get no reward. So as Matthew Fuderman says, schools getting free labor. This is basically saying that the schools are making lots of money off of how much people they bring in. So the athletes are doing all the work, and they put on the show and like compete for fans to come watch. And as fans come in, they spend money and buy things for the university, but none of that money goes towards the athletes. So they're doing all this work for the university basically for free. So they're basically giving them free labor. And along with the free labor, they work for free that way, but in the summer they're not allowed to get a job basically because of all the time that they have to spend with practices. And as Chip Scoggins says in his article, that with a sport they have no time for a summer job. And with a summer job, during the summer, most college students will go home to their hometown and work and make money for when the school year comes around, or some even stay at school and they'll either take a class and have a job to help make money. But if you're a college athlete, you don't really have that kind of time, since most college sports will require you to be at the university during summer to practice, and with all the training that you have to do and stuff, you'll have longer practices and more practices more frequently throughout the day, since they're longer and you don't have to go to class, so the requirements are less. And so with that, they're not able to have a job, and therefore that kind of limits how much they're able to spend. And then sports, with them not being able to get a job, their sports are basically their full-time job, and with that being their full-time job, Joe Nacero says in his article that more than 40 hours a week are for a sport. So he's saying that, well, the typical work week is 40 hours for just anybody, and so that's a full week. And when players are practicing, with their games, their practices, conditioning, and all that training, they'll spend sometimes more than 40 hours a week dedicated towards that sport, and that's not without getting paid, so that's not really fair to them, since they have to do all that work towards the sport and have to go to school and just whatever else they do. So they have to spend that much time when everyone else, all adults, are spending that same amount of time and are getting paid. They have to do all this work for the school without making any money. And then many students realize, or student athletes realize this is unfair and may protest it. As Mark Koba states in his article that the Northwestern football team tried forming a union, and although this union that they formed didn't work, and they formed the union, but they were unable to get it to work at all, so that they could not get paid. It definitely says a statement that they are trying, and they realize that the schools are making so much money off of them. And so with that, the college athletes are working very hard and making all this money for the universities, and they should get paid because they are making the money for the schools but doing it for free. So they're giving them just free workers, free labor. And then with this, they have no time to work in the summer with the sport because, I mean, you're representing the school, so you have to make sure you represent them well, so you have to practice a lot, so you're not able to get a job in the summer. And then you work so hard and have so many hours of practice, you're not able to get a job. And so you're also basically having a job with the sport, because you're working so many hours a week with practicing. And so I'll leave you with one final question: is, do you believe that college athletes should be paid for all their hard work and dedication towards the sport?